Hi, and welcome to this episode of Tasty Tuesday. Today we're going to make a salad, a quinoa strawberry salad. And we thought with strawberry season coming upon us, this would be a light, refreshing salad. And we're going to use quinoa, which is a whole grain. It's very high in protein. And if you've never cooked with quinoa, this is a quick, easy recipe that you can try it with. And the first step we're going to do is I'm going to prepare our vinaigrette that goes on top of our salad. And when you are preparing this salad, you want to dress it with your dressing right before you get ready to serve, because the quinoa is really going to soak up those flavors. So let's get started with our dressing. And I'm just going to use a little mason jar here to mix it with. And this recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar, and then 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, and then 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and then just salt and pepper to taste. So I'm going to add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. And I was actually sharing with someone earlier that this recipe, I believe, is similar to the one in the Steps to Health curriculum from a while back. And I didn't think that the kids would enjoy this vinaigrette, because we were going to serve it with little broccoli and cauliflower, and I was surprised that they enjoyed it. So, but go ahead.
I was going to say, I've actually made this similar dressing at home, and both of my girls, who are 9 and 4, actually both really enjoy this dressing. So don't be scared to branch out with your children. I know a lot of them gravitate towards the things they recognize the most, with like maybe ranch, which is still popular in our household, but they did really enjoy this as well.
So it's a simple little vinaigrette you can make and try.
Yeah. And so we are going to use this dressing that Candy prepared to top on our salad. And so we are going to move into preparing the heart of this salad, which includes 2 cups of spinach that we are going to chiffonade, which is a special cut to kind of make your salad a little bit more fine. There's nothing I hate more than being in front of people and trying to take a bite of my salad, and I've got a fork full of lettuce leaves that are bigger than I can fit, so you have to put it back down and regather yourself. So we're going to chiffonade these, and so we're going to demonstrate that for you. And again, this is just going to make our salad leaves smaller, so that they fit better on your fork, and it just makes a really pretty presentation with our strawberries that we're going to have in here and other things. And so Candy here is doing it very neatly. She's stacking them together, and then what we're going to do, she's doing it neat. I'm going to show you another alternative that's a little bit faster sometimes, where you just kind of line them up so that they're overlapping a little bit, and you can roll them on up just like you were maybe rolling a taco or something for your kids.
And you just slice it really thin. You kind of get this little effect.
Making sure to keep your fingers out of the way. Using that claw grip is very helpful. And this is a really great knife skills activity that you can practice with your children as well. You'll be surprised how much fun they'll have with it.
And Krista's using the correct knife. I'm not using the correct knife, but still, you can use whatever you have. You don't have to.
I think that's a great demonstration that you don't have to have any type of special equipment at home to make something that looks a little bit special or a little bit different. And you can see how it just makes these really pretty long, skinny cuts into your leaves, and you can already kind of see what that's going to look like in your salad.
And this recipe also is has like topped with basil, and we'll do the same thing with the basil. And I know a lot of people prefer spinach raw as opposed to cooking. I know my dad always preferred it raw, and going into the schools, the kids will taste spinach, and they really like the raw spinach too. Okay.
All right, so we've got our spinach leaves done, and then we're also going to do the same thing with our basil leaves. So I'm just going to kind of stack these right here. And they smell so good.
They do. They smell really good.
And
when I open the package,
if you were going to prepare this and you found that you didn't have fresh basil at home, you can always substitute with a dried or a dehydrated basil. But your fresh basil is always going to give you probably the most flavorful experience with your salad. And again, it just cuts it up into little strips and mixes it right in. And so I'm going to go ahead and place these two ingredients in our bowl. And so we have 2 cups of spinach leaves. We've got a handful of basil here. We're also going to add in 2 cups of arugula, and both our spinach, arugula, and basil we have already pre-washed at the sink and tried to remove as much moisture as possible from our leaves. By doing that, it will typically stay a little bit more fresh if you have to store it for any period of time before you serve it.
And I know the recipe also says that if you just want to use all spinach, you can use all spinach. And if you want to use all arugula, you can do that. I know some people don't like arugula, so that's another choice you can go with.
We're going to add our ½ cup of cooked quinoa. We have already prepared that over at the stove. You can prepare it with package directions if this is something that's new to you. I would suggest following it, just adding the water measurement as recommended. But you can also substitute with like a low sodium chicken stock or chicken broth just to add a little bit more flavor. So we're going to go ahead and add this in here. And we are going to add 2/3 cup of our sliced strawberries that we have already prepared. We've just cut the tops and cut them into slices. Oop, one's trying to hang out. And then we also have 2 tablespoons of toasted almonds. So you can toast these or not. This is your preference. So there's lots of room with this recipe to add some variety and to tailor it to some of the specific tastes that you like. So we're going to sprinkle those in there, and we are going to just give this a good little toss before we add our homemade dressing that Candy prepared. And so got some beautiful colors in here. I'm going to turn it to you just so you can see it a little bit better. And you can see we've got our quinoa, we've got our strawberry. We can really smell that fresh basil in there. This is a very fresh and refreshing spring salad. And so again, remember, you don't want to add your dressing too soon just because your quinoa will absorb a lot of that. So we want to wait until right before we're going to serve it. And so you can drizzle that dressing on top. And a neat thing about making your own dressing is if you're someone that likes your dressings a little bit more tart flavored, then you can add more balsamic vinegar. If you don't like them to be as tart, then you can add more oil. So there's a lot of room for really, again, tailoring this recipe for your taste buds.
So we hope you'll try this recipe. This is actually a Mediterranean recipe. If you haven't tried any of those, you know, in the Mediterranean region, they are known for their health and what they eat. So this is a recipe that you could try to see if you like that type of recipe.
Yep. So this recipe comes from our Mediterranean curriculum, which is called Med Instead of Meds, and we actually do have a website, which is medinsteadofmeds.com, where you can find this recipe and others that are very similar. So as Candy said, we hope that you will give this recipe a try. We hope you'll get out into the community and source some of those local strawberries to make it even more flavorful. And we will join you again next month for another episode of Tasty Tuesday.